नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, राम राम सा, खंबा गणी, वणक्कम, प्रणाम। आप सभी का ऑल्टरनेट मीडिया में फिर से स्वागत है। मैं आपकी होस्ट गायत्री देवी। हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए छोटे से गैप के बाद पीवीआर नरसिम्हा राव सर। बिहार के इलेक्शंस अनाउंस हो चुके हैं। देखिए, नासा को बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स खर्च करके तब सैटेलाइट भेज के तब बताते हैं ये प्लैनेट यहाँ होगा, वो प्लैनेट वहां होगा, 2 साल 4 साल बाद। एंड लुक एट द एडवांसमेंट दैट वी हैड। मतलब definitely our books have been destroyed and burned during different phases of the invasions that we have seen. पर सोचिए, एक पंचांग से 5 साल बाद, 5 महीने बाद, 5 दिन बाद हमारे प्लैनेट्स कहाँ बैठे होंगे और किस तरीके से वो गाइड करेंगे, क्या सर्कमस्टांसेस होंगे, वो देख कर बता देते हैं। बिहार के इलेक्शंस अनाउंस हो चुके हैं और मैं आई कांट कंट्रोल माई सेल्फ then to analyze what the situation in Bihar elections is going to be, the probabilities. I'm using the word probability because astrology is not a confirmative, it's a probable science. So let's try and understand कि क्या probability होगी different parties की, who is likely to be the chief minister. Periana, a very warm welcome on the show. जी.
Namaskar, Gayatri ji, and namaste to all your audience. The election results are expected to be announced on November 14. The counting and the declaration of the results is scheduled for November 14. So I looked at the planetary positions on November 14 and I looked at the charts of some key players. Unfortunately, we don't have reliable but times for several key players like Nitish Kumar ji, but we do have the charts of Narendra Modi ji, BJP, Congress, and we do have the moon sign of Nitish Kumar ji. And for Chirag Paswan and Tejasvi Yadav ji, we have their moon sign, and also in their case, for those two young leaders, their horoscopes are also known, but we are not 100% confident of those horoscopes. But they do make sense to me, so I'll just go ahead and use them. So the bottom line is, at the time of the declaration of election results, Moon and Ketu will be in Leo, which is the 12th house of loss from Virgo, where Moon is in the chart of Congress party. So this will be a disastrous election for Congress party. They will not be in power at the end of the election, and also their own position as a party in this key state may really take a beating. So this won't really be good for them. And even looking at the chart of Rahul Gandhi ji, this is not really a good day for him. But for Congress party, it is worse. And if we look at the chart of Nitish Kumar ji, he had Jupiter in the 8th house, which is not a good transit until recently. Just a few days back, Jupiter has moved away from Gemini to Cancer, which is the 9th house of fortune for him. So this is basically a better transit for him. There are some negatives in his chart, like Saturn in the 5th house of power, showing some setbacks relating to power, and also Ketu in the 10th house, which shows some mistakes or some setbacks relating to career. So there are some negatives for him. But Jupiter, who's the fifth lord of power from the natal moon, he basically moving to ninth recently can be a very favorable thing for him. And the other thing is, if I take the chart of Narendra Modi ji himself, the Prime Minister of India, one interesting thing is, in his chart, Rahu is the planet of power. He's the fifth lord of power, and he's in the sixth house of vanquishing enemies. And he's in the beginning of Pisces. He's around 6 degrees of Pisces. And the interesting thing is, few days before election, Jupiter becomes stationary at around 2 degrees in Cancer. When stationary planets aspect or conjoin key positions in the natal chart, important events relating to that planet happen around that time, to 2 weeks before or after. So November 11, Jupiter will be stationary at 2 degrees in Cancer. He is aspecting Rahu in Narendra Modi's chart and triggers him. So this is a very favorable time for him to consolidate his power and to vanquish his enemies. This is not really, moreover, his dasha is Mars dasha. And Mars is a key planet for him, showing Purva Punya in career because he's the fifth lord from the 10th house. And Jupiter is also aspecting Mars, who's at 2 degrees in Scorpio. So overall, for Narendra Modi ji, this is a good time. This is not a time when you have a setback in career and you basically lose a very key state in the heartland of India. That seems very unlikely based on Narendra Modi's chart. And based on Nitish Kumar ji's chart, there are some negatives, but basically Jupiter's transit seems to enable him to overcome that. Let us also look at the chart of Sri Tejasvi Yadav ji. If we look at his chart, his exact birth time is not known, but the version that is used by some astrologers uses Makar Lagna, and if that is correct, then basically Moon Ketu combination that happens on November 14 will be in the 8th house from his Lagna, and also uh, the annual chart is not really favorable for him, but we are not confident of Lagna, so let's focus on moon sign. His moon sign is pretty guaranteed to be in Kumbh Rasi at the end of Kumbh Rasi. So if we take moon at the end of Kumbh Rasi, Jupiter was in the fifth house of power until recently, but just a few days back, he moved away to the sixth house. So that's not a good transit for Jupiter. So, had the elections been 2 months earlier, in August or September, who knows, Jupiter may have enabled him to win. But the current position of Jupiter and the position on November 14 is not favorable to him. Moreover, he's still running Sade Sati. He's in the last one third of Sade Sati. So, overall, comparing various planetary positions, Nitish Kumar ji, in spite of the setbacks, has much better position. Tejasvi Yadav ji doesn't really have a strong chance just based on the transits from natal moon. So that is one thing. Now, the other key player is Chirag Paswan ji. If we look at his chart, he's based on the birth time that is given by some astrologers. He's Makar Lagna person, and that seems to fit his personality, his past, like being a film actor and all that. So if we look at Makar Lagna, in his chart, the 10th house is very powerful. He has Venus, Saturn, and Mercury. So there are a couple of Mahapurush yogas and several Raj yogas. Ninth Lord, Fifth Lord, Lagna Lord, 10th Lord, all together in the 10th house of career. So one thing I can confidently say is he's a what we say in Hindi as lambe race ka ghoda. He's basically definitely a person to watch in future. After Nitish Kumarji's career is done, it will probably not be Tejasvi Yadav, but it will be Chirag Paswan who will hold the cards for the state of Bihar. And the other thing is in his chart, based on the most applicable nakshatra dasha that I use, which is Chaturasiti Samadasya, 84-year dasha, from 2030 or 2031, he starts Mercury dasha, and that triggers these Rajogas. So next few years are pretty good for him, but from 2030 2031 time frame, he has terrific Rajogas. He'll be a key leader in Bihar and India for several years in the next decade. And currently, he's still running Sadesati. His moon is in Pisces in Mena Rasi towards the end of Mena Rasi. So he's also running Sadesati like Tejasvi Yadavji. But his Ketu is in the sixth house. This moon Ketu combination that happens at the time the election results are announced, that happens to be in the sixth house of power for him. So it shows vanquishing enemies. And most importantly, his Janmarasi Lord, Jupiter, he will be exalted in the fifth house of power from his natal moon. So that will be a very favorable transit. So overall, Jupiter's transit is unfavorable for Tejasvi Yadavji and very favorable for Nitish Kumarji and Chirag Paswanji. But Chirag Paswanji is still running Sade Sati. So my overall conclusion is that the NDA alliance will comfortably win this election, and Congress party will be pretty close to being wiped out in Bihar state. They will become absolutely irrelevant in Bihar state, and Tejasvi Yadavji will face a setback, and he will lose some position. Basically whatever they did in the past, they may not be able to even match that, and Nitish Kumarji will retain power because he still has Jupiter's good transit. My thinking is that he will remain the chief minister, but the fact that his fifth house and 10th house are affected by Saturn and Ketu in transit, it suggests to me that there will be some challenges and there will be some setbacks. For example, it is possible that compared to JDU party, a couple of other alliances within the NDA will do better. So there will be some challenge to his position. So this may be something that will affect his long term prospects. He may have to let somebody else take over in this term, or in the coming years. But the thing is, for now, my expectation is that he will hang in there. And one name to watch out for future is Chirag Paswan ji.
Perina, I have two very interesting questions.
Yes.
You mentioned about Tejasvi Yadav.
Yeah.
What will happen to the fortunes of Yadav family, to the future prospects of the Yadav family?
I haven't studied Tejasvi Yadav chart in detail because I'm not confident of the birth time. But if the birth time that I have is correct, he will be relevant for a while, but he will not really be in power. So he will just be an opposition leader for a long time to foresee basically. So in general, my assessment based on his not so reliable chart is that slowly the Yadav family fortunes will dwindle in the coming years. And other players like JDU and the Lok Janshakti Party, BJP, these parties will rise and there will be consolidation amongst those. And Nitish Kumar ji and perhaps after that Chirag Paswan ji will rule the roost in the state, and he will just become he will not be too relevant, but he'll not be too irrelevant. He'll probably be just an opposition leader for a long time. Who will
And
become irrelevant is Congress party. Congress party will become totally irrelevant.
वो तो पेरियाना वो तो भारत में ही irrelevant होते जा रहे हैं मतलब बिहार being just one of the states.
Yes.
Who do you think will be the chief minister in coming times, in coming assembly elections in Bihar?
At this time, my best guess is Nitish Kumar ji. There's a very good chance that, given that he is the incumbent, there are no clear indications that he will lose it. So my assessment is that he will remain in power. He will remain chief minister. But as I said, the next cycle, the next elections, because I said 2030, 2031 onwards, several years of great Rajogas are going to be activated for Chirag Paswan ji. So right now he belongs to a small party which is just a junior partner in the NDA, but who knows how the politics evolves over the coming years. So given that he has terrific Rajogas and they're going to be triggered towards the end of this decade and remain for several years, I will not be surprised if he basically takes over as the chief minister in late 2020s or at the time of next election in 2030, and he will remain the chief minister for a few cycles after that. It's a powerful chart, very powerful chart.
Wow, very interesting. So all the fans and all the followers of Chirag Paswan are really going to be happy. Especially one of my friends is very close with him. He
Mhm.
must be very happy listening this assessment, actually, this analysis. Sure,
All the
and he
best to the
looks
young
like
leader.
quite he looks like he's quite a jujharu neta. Means like somebody who's always there on the ground, who's always working hard, trying to connect with people,
He'll be
divide the labor.
very practical, very pragmatic, very grounded, and lot of charisma. We haven't really seen his charisma so far. When the Mercury Dasha comes, given that Mercury, Venus, and Saturn are in the 10th house of power career, and they are the three trine laws showing Purva Punya, he will have good eloquence, he will have good charisma, and he will basically be able to touch the hearts of people, because good leaders, they're not just smart, they don't make sense logically, they just touch your heart. And he will have that rare ability because Saturn is also in that Rajoga, and he'll be somebody definitely to watch in the coming years. He is nowhere close to his best. His best is still several years away.
Wow. We should be waiting for the 3031, but looks like Nitish Kumar दोबारा से बाजी मारेंगे. But these are probabilistic assessments because we don't
Probabilistic,
have the
yeah,
exact charts. Yeah.
right.
So sixth day, sixth number ruled by Venus, if I'm not wrong, Periana. And then 11th again, a very auspicious date. जिसका date of birth 11th होता है, बहुत lucky माना जाता है, 11 और 21 को. So again, a very auspicious day. And then 14th ko results. 5, 4 and 1, 5. Leo. And then as Periana explained, the other planetary combinations. Looks like BJP is going to win back Bihar this time in the state assembly
And
election.
one more thing is I also looked at the fortnight chart cast at Patna, which is basically the capital of the state. If we look at the chart for the fortnight, that shows what is the major mood and what is the major developments in the state during that period. And even in that chart, 10th Lord Rahu is in the 10th house in the chart, in Rasi chart. In the Navamsha chart, 10th Lord Jupiter is exalted in the second house, aspecting 10th house. So in general, none of the key charts, Rasi, Navamsha and Dasamsha, they show a big setback to the current leader, current executive leader. So it doesn't seem like NDA will basically lose the majority. So NDA will remain is my best assessment based on all the factors.
राइट, थैंक यू सो मच पेरियाना फॉर ज्वाइनिंग. जाने से पहले सभी व्यूअर्स से रिक्वेस्ट है, पेरियाना का चैनल है और वेबसाइट भी है जहां पर वो बहुत स्पिरिचुअलिटी की डेप्थ में जाते हैं, धर्म के बारे में बहुत सारी बातें बताते हैं. आपने बहुत सारी चीजें सोची होंगी बट आपको उस पर इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलती होगी. वो सारी चीजें आपको पेरियाना के वेबसाइट और यूट्यूब चैनल दोनों पे मिलेंगे. जैसा कि मैं हमेशा करती हूँ, मैं वो लिंक चैट बॉक्स में पिन करके डालूंगी सो दैट यू कैन इमीडिएटली क्लिक एंड रीच हिज वेबसाइट एंड यूट्यूब चैनल. प्लीज लाइक, सब्सक्राइब एंड शेयर हिज चैनल ऑल्सो. इसी के साथ अगर आपको हमारा काम पसंद आता है, एनालिसिस पसंद आती है, तो प्लीज लाइक, सब्सक्राइब और शेयर करना ना भूलें. अगर आप कंट्रीब्यूट करना चाहते हैं तो नंबर और यूपीआई स्क्रीन के ऊपर है. हमने अपने सभी सोशल मीडिया हैंडल्स बहुत तेजी से एक्टिव किए हुए हैं. सब पे ब्रेकिंग न्यूज, ब्रेकिंग एनालिसिस, एवरी 5 मिनट्स यू विल गेट ऑल द डिटेल्स. एंड इंस्टाग्राम पे जाना नहीं भूलिएगा क्योंकि बड़ी मजेदार वीडियोस भारत की पॉलिटिक्स से रिलेटेड सब वहां पर और वर्ल्ड विश्व से जुड़ी हुई वहां पर मिलती है. इसी के साथ जय हिंद, जय श्री राम, हर हर महादेव.
जय हिंद, जय श्री राम, हर हर महादेव.